What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're breaking down the weekly reset for Lightfall and Season of Defiance for Tuesday, April 4th. And so this week we have the return of the Iron Banner, and yes, it's back already. This time we got a different game mode, so we'll talk about that. And then of course the season story quest is finished for the moment, but we do get new seasonal challenges. We also have the Lightfall and Neomuna reset, and then we'll cover the Nightfall, the featured weapon for the week, as well as other new rewards in the game, the Eververse store, and everything related to the reset in the videos. So, as always guys, I hope you find the breakdown helpful today, and if you do, a rating below really does help us out, but otherwise, let's get into it. And so first up today, this week we'll see the return of the Iron Banner for the second time in the season. Of course, we only had Iron Banner a couple of weeks ago, but Bungie had announced that we're going to see it 3 times a season now, plus the first Iron Banner for Season of Defiance was moved back by a week. So it's been a pretty short gap between the two events this time. An Iron Banner this week will feature Eruption as the game mode, so the game mode will be changing every time it returns this season. But otherwise, the rewards are the same as what we had last time, with a couple of reprises and things like that. So let us know if you were jumping into the Iron Banner this week down in the comment section. But also, while we're on the subject of the Crucible, we'll see the return of Mayhem this week as well. And then moving over to Season of Defiance stuff, of course, the main quest thread for the season is now wrapped up. There will pretty likely still be a finale part a bit later on in the season, but otherwise we won't be getting new steps for the moment. But we do see new weekly challenges. So for week 6 of the season right here, initially we have Forceful Liberator to defeat combatants in Defiant Battlegrounds playlist using power weapons, and will earn bonus progress if they deal solar damage. Next there is Relentless Liberator to gain bonus rewards using a Defiant key at the end of Battlegrounds playlist activities on both normal and legend difficulties. And that's followed by Vexing Liberator, defeat Vex with seasonal weapons, including Perpetualis, Prodigal Return, Regnant, Caretaker, the Raconteur, and Royal Executioner, and we'll get bonus progress if we defeat them in seasonal activities. But additionally, there is Defiant Crucible Ornament to acquire the Crucible Ornament for Ecliptic Distaff, and then Elegant Weaponry to defeat combatants in the Vanguard playlist or strikes while using a sword, bow, or glaive. And finally, there is Absolutely Stunning to stun champions in the season. So that does it for the weekly challenges, but next we'll get the reset for Neomuna content. So as always, we'll see a new featured story mission this week. And on top of that, the Vex Incursion Zone should be moving to a Himsa Park. Plus we'll get a new Partition mission, and all of the powerful and pinnacle reward sources will refresh. And that takes us over to the Vanguard, where the featured Nightfall for the week will be Lake of Shadows. So that'll be an interesting one to run with a few updates. And the featured Nightfall weapon this week will be the Swarm. And then we get on to the raid and dungeon rotation. And for this week, we're going to see Kingsfall as the featured raid, with Prophecy as the featured dungeon, and both of these will drop their unique items, of course with updated power relevancy. And otherwise, the Rood of Nightmares raid will refresh as well, featuring a new challenge for the week. Next though, let's get onto the Eververse store for the week. And initially, we're going to see the Can't Go On, which is a rare emote right here for 400 Bright Dust. And on top of that, we'll get the Exotech Shell, an exotic ghost shell there for 2850 Bright Dust. And that's followed by the Catch Flight entrance Transman effect, which will be 450 Bright Dust this week. And then the 2 front page featured shaders will be Laguna Cruiser, which is 300 Bright Dust, and of course for the same price, we'll also see the Polished Sea Stone shader. We start to get a few more items for Season of Defiance this week in the store, so we've got the Arcade Games multiplayer emote, that one's 4250 Bright Dust, and we'll see the boots from the armor set for Eververse this season, available for all 3 classes for 1200 Bright Dust each. And that's followed by the Kit Shell, exotic ghost here for 2850 Bright Dust, and for 700 Bright Dust, we can pick up the Blind Faith, which is one of the older ornaments for the Trust Hand Cannon. Moving on though, we get the Exohelion exotic ship, that will cost 2000 Bright Dust, and for 1250, we can pick up this week's exotic weapon ornament, which is Shiro's Watch, of course themed after Shiro 4 from the Iron Temple in D1, which is an ornament for the Trespasser, which is pretty fitting, so that's a cool one available this week. But finally, we will also see the Magic Trick projection, a ghost projection there for 1500 Bright Dust. But moving over to the Dares of Eternity, as well as the unique Dares drops this week, additional drops include the Scatterhorn armor set and the Perfector armor sets, as well as some weapons from Season of the Lost and Season of the Chosen. But if it's the Lost Sector rotation you're curious about, for Tuesday, we'll get the Gilded Precept on Neptune, dropping exotic gauntlets, then we'll move back to the EDZ. So on April 5th, we'll get Excavation Site, dropping exotic chest pieces. April 6th will be Skydock, dropping exotic helmets, followed by the Quarry on April 7th, dropping exotic legs. Then for April 8th, we'll get Aphelion's Rest in the Dreaming City, dropping exotic gauntlets. Chamber of Starlight will be featured on April 9th, dropping exotic chest pieces, and we'll get Perdition on April 10th, which will be dropping exotic helmets. The final thing to mention though, in the Dreaming City, if you are still after Ascendant challenges, this week it'll be the Sumeria Garrison, which is accessed via the Chamber of Starlight in Ria Silvia. So if you want gameplay of the location and how to get to that one this week, we'll run it at the end of the video, but otherwise, guys, that's everything we have to discuss inside of the weekly reset. So, as always, I hope this one has been useful, and if it has, be sure to get subscribed to the channel, as I'll be keeping you posted with everything related to the game. Also, if you've enjoyed the video today, a rating down below really does help us out, and let us know if you'll be diving into the game this week. But otherwise, thank you for tuning in, and I hope you guys have an awesome day.